Hey there, thank you for joining me. My name is Danny and I'm with Boundless Global. And I have wanted to be able to have a special edition presentation for parents, leaders, and caring adults that are interested in making sure that our next generation is protected, is taken care of, and that has a legacy that is worth passing on. So all things considered, what I wanted to focus on in this special edition presentation of this video is focus on our new normal. As you know, in the last couple of weeks or several weeks, many things have changed because of this virus. People not having jobs, people trying to hold on to their jobs or looking for jobs or just trying to find out how they're going to come up with the money to make payments. Alongside that, the new normal has also brought many school closures. And when you have school closures, it affects our preteens, our teens, and our young people, and it takes them away from a structure that was somewhat already there. And it then begins to put into question what kind of guardrails should we have, could we have in place to protect them. Now, there is no doubt that we have been bombarded by the physical type of guardrails that we should have in protecting our young people and our kids, which is if you're going to eat something, then make sure that you wash your hands 20 seconds and you scrub well. Don't put your hands on your face and your eyes and your mouth and your nose. So we're all very aware of the need to physically be healthy because it could not only affect us, but it could affect those who are more vulnerable. Now, I want to talk to you about a more insidious danger that, if not paid attention to, could even be worse than that of this virus. And that is the danger of us not setting certain boundaries as it pertains to online engagement. Many of our kids being at home, yes, we're figuring out how they should do studying online and whatnot. But if we don't also regulate the time they spend online, then only God knows what they're going to come up with. Now, there is no doubt that there's that threat of the virus, but then there's an even greater threat which can come into our homes if we don't regulate what's going on online. And many of our kids are involved in different types of platforms, TikTok or Snapchat, Instagram, or even gaming platforms. And what we many times don't realize is that these platforms and social media apps are gateways for predators and people who want to harm or want to show or want to take advantage of our kids. And our kids may be open to seeing things, hearing things, sending things, or doing things that in other instances they would not be doing. But since our new normal is so much more fluid, these things, unfortunately, can become a huge reality. Now, what I want to do is I want to be able to caution us, and I wanted to be able to outline some online safety measures that we've prepared for you to take into account in terms of setting up some guardrails for your teens or young people. Because we have the physical ones in place for the most part in making sure that our kids don't get sick, but you also want to protect them emotionally, okay, from getting sick or being taken advantage of. Now, this goes for kids. It goes for special needs groups. Many times, there's a lot of great things about being online, but if we don't regulate it, it could be problematic. So anyways, all that being said, number one, encourage your young people, your minors, or your kids, whatever the situation may be, special needs or whatnot, to never share pictures of themselves online that they wouldn't want to have seen by family, by teachers, or by a total stranger. Now, I understand that for some of our younger kids that may be online and for some of our special needs groups, we may need to be a bit more directive. But regardless of what the situation is, we have to make sure that whatever they are posting in terms of pictures is they have in mind that it cannot be compromising or put them out there in a way that could harm them. That's number one. Number two, Set their user profiles to private, okay? That only real friends can get access to them, all right? So that they know, or you know, that they are chatting with a friend, all right? That they don't go and have just open access to whatever it is. You got to regulate that. You have to be able to be checking it. If you have older young people at your house that know different ways to get around these things, you have to be able to put in those cases regulations and requirements. Say, you know what? I know you're older. I know you're going to do things the way you want to do them, but I need you to understand very clearly that while you're under this roof, you are going to be doing things the way I want you. So I'm going to be doing regular checks and specs on your phone, what you're looking at and what you're viewing. Very important, because you never know what things could be getting allowed into the house in the guise of something safe. Don't share personal information online. Here's another one, such as your full name or school or address or phone number or even passwords. Okay, that's very important that you let your kids know that they shouldn't just be posting these things out there. Especially if somebody asks them to meet in person and there's a possibility of meeting. No, don't meet. Don't allow your young people to even consider the possibility of meeting up with somebody after this whole thing is said and done, or even in the middle of it, especially if it's a total stranger. And then lastly, report suspected abuse to law enforcement. If you see something that's really questionable, if they're getting pictures that they should not be getting and they are questionable, or you see somebody asking them to send stuff that's not supposed to be there, you got to confront it. You got to protect it, because these things can really harm. So as we've seen our nation and different countries around the world suffering because of this COVID-19 pandemic, and everybody kind of having to stay in place and having all these regulation and guardrails in place, we want to encourage you to please have the same for regulations and controls and guardrails and protections for your kids, your young people, your special needs folks, to protect them, because you never know what could be allowed in if you don't have the right guardrails. So these are just some thoughts for you from this special edition Boundless Global episode, brought to you by yours truly, Danny Esposito. So stay tuned. There's going to be much more to come, and we're in this together.